Better late than never. The summer 2025 is finally out. It's the latest we've ever had a summer update. But hey, it'll be out when it's out, and we like that. It is kind of interesting how we kind of pretty much took it as a given that we'd get an update. Because between 2018 and 2022, we didn't even get these holiday-sized summer updates. These events have really only been just the past 3 years. It does feel kind of longer than that, doesn't it? I think it is also worth pointing out that even just as recently as last year, we were having a horrible bot problem that has since been fixed. Yeah, right before the summer update last year, they wiped out all the bots, and they've basically been gone. And this year we got 10 new maps, just like last year, compared to 14 in 2023. And I do think they did shoot themselves in the foot a little bit by adding 14 in 2023. It did kind of set the standard for adding an insane amount of maps each time. It's not exactly a new sentiment, but I do think we are fast approaching, if not already at the point where there are too many maps in casual rotation at any given time. With these new ones, that brings the total to 122, which is a whole lot of maps. I think they felt bad for giving us barely any new maps for like 5 years, and then kinda overcompensated. Honestly, I think 5 maps in these summer updates would be more than enough. And not to go on about this topic for too long, but on Discord we were actually talking about what could be done to address the amount of maps. I was saying maybe each game mode could be limited to 10 maps at a time, with the 5 most popular of each game being permanent. I'm sure Valve has the stats on that. And then the other 5 remaining maps would be on rotation every week or so. There's probably not a way to address the number of maps that makes everybody happy, but I think that would probably be alright as long as the maps on rotation were cycled fairly often. It'd bring the total number of maps in casual from 122 to 72, which is still plenty, but it does cut out 50 at a time. And realistically, for a game this old that's been continuing to get updates for so long, map bloat was probably always going to be a problem. I don't think it's some major issue in and of itself, but I do think it should be addressed. But hey, new maps. We got 10 of them. Citadel, Aquarius, Vulgar, Cargo, Conifer, Boardwalk, Blowout, Manhole, Demolition, and Pressure. We also got some new hats. Mostly decent. I'm not sure how many I see myself getting, but from what I could see, they are okay. And then we got 4 new taunts. Final Score, Bear Hug, Texan Trickshot, and Flying Colors. I don't think I've ever seen Final Score on the workshop before. It's a little bit plain. Bear Hug is a heavy specific partner taunt, kind of like Soldier's Neck Snap. It's probably my favorite of the bunch. It's a pretty good taunt. The flag planting one is also pretty nice. It does maybe look like the blue flag might be currently broken. I did see it used in game and it was not showing up. But that can happen for some prop related taunts sometimes. And maybe most controversial of all is that the Texan Trickshot is an actual taunt kill, and the first one to not be attached to a weapon. The Shred Alert has an unused kill icon, so at one point it was likely intended to be a taunt kill, but obviously it wasn't. And the range of the Texas Trickshot is pretty far. I believe it is about as much as Heavy's Fist Taunt, but it is the slowest taunt kill in the game. It is not fast at all. I don't know what people are saying about this, but I wouldn't be surprised if Reddit is freaking out about Valve adding some kind of pay-to-win taunt or something. Personally, though, I'm not really a fan of it. I would have probably preferred that purchasable taunts not be able to kill. But again, this is an extremely slow taunt, and taunt kills themselves are just a fun gimmick that really don't provide any kind of real advantage, unless maybe you get absurdly lucky. Again, not really a huge fan, but I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing some kind of slop posts blowing it out of proportion. It's gonna happen. And hey, maybe I was just having a general good time and huffing that good vibesium, but I actually quite enjoyed the majority of the new maps. As I'm sure you can imagine, rushing to play these new maps and getting footage doesn't usually give you a whole lot of time to form full opinions on them. And honestly, a lot of the time when you're recording purely for footage, it does not make the process very fun. But this time around, I did have fun. There might be a few too many King of the Hill maps for my liking, but maybe they're just excited about the revival. The most boring of them is Boardwalk, which is just a non-Halloween version of Laughter. Decent map, but not exactly exciting. Pressure is an undersea capture the flag map. It's got a long middle section with a pit in the center. Even though there is a decent amount of rock coverage, it does seem like sniper sightlines could maybe be too long here. Though in my limited time playing, it didn't seem to be an issue. Blowout is probably the most forgettable map to me. It's King of the Hill. It was alright. As I'm recording this, I don't even remember what it looks like. And then Citadel is a payload map with a giant tank instead of a cart. Probably the most noteworthy thing is that blue engineers can build on the cart, so they can have basically mobile sentries. I actually played this map twice, and the second time around people were complaining that they thought it was too powerful. And when I joined the match, blue was already like 2/3 of the way through, but I took out their sentries pretty easily each time. I guess the rest of the team was struggling, because we still lost pretty badly, but I didn't think it was that hard. It is an interesting and pretty long map. I'm not really sure what I think of it though. So I'll have to see how my opinion develops on this one. And speaking of developing opinions, Aquarius is another payload map where like half of it is completely underwater. Like you're actually swimming. I'm kind of surprised it's taken us this long to get a map with this much water. And Aquarius has a very interesting layout. I mean, being able to swim through large parts of the map does let you do some very unique things. And this seems like an extremely gimmicky map, and I guess to some degree it kind of is. But I kind of liked it quite a bit. I bet you this will probably be a fairly disliked map. The friend I was playing with did not like it. And it is very possible that I might not like it the more I play it, but the first time I did, I actually had a lot of fun. You gain a speed increase in the water and it makes swimming around a lot more enjoyable. The unique shape of the map is something I've really never seen before. So honestly, I think it's a neat map, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's not everybody's cup of tea. And then Demolition is a very cramped King of the Hill map. It is not my favorite. But Fulgur is a very solid attack-defend map. I look forward to trying this one again. I think attack-defend is generally my favorite modes, and this one seems to be pretty good at it. The match I had on Manhole was kind of underpopulated, so I didn't get the best idea. But from what I played, I do think it is my favorite King of the Hill map of this update. It didn't feel cramped, there was a lot of ways to get to the point, and it seems pretty good. It's a very detailed map too. There's little rats running around. Look at this guy. There's some cockroaches under the dumpster. And there's little touches, like the point being a sewer grate. That's pretty funny, I like that. Then Cargo is another attack-defend map that seemed a little too wide open to me. We lost pretty badly, so I didn't have the best experience on that one. And lastly, Conifer has a missing texture there, but is also an attack-defend map and seems like a pretty solid one. A lot of attack-defend and a lot of King of the Hill maps this time around, but overall, not bad. What else can I say? Oh, and they also reduced the end-of-round vote timer from 30 seconds to 15 seconds, which is definitely a good change. And I actually sent them an email about that probably just like a few weeks ago. I was playing some Counter-Strike 2, which I don't do a whole lot of generally, but the end-of-round map voting in that game was so fast, and in TF2 it was just so excessively long. So I shot them an email on the website, and I have no idea if they saw it, but hey, it's a possibility. And now the vote time is halved, and that feels a lot better. They also added a bullet body group for Heavy's cosmetics, which is interesting. The two new Heavy body items remove his bandolier, even though on the workshop they don't. So that's a little bit odd. But what I'm really hoping for is to finally get a body group for Sniper and Medic's glasses. I have always hated their double glasses anytime they wear a glasses item. It just looks dumb. So maybe in another 17 years we could finally get a body group for that. But that's really all there is to say, I think. This update was very by the books based on what we had in the past. It's community maps, it's hats, it's taunts, it's effects. I've said it before, and I'll say it a million times, but if Valve did any of their own balancing or added any of their own flair to these updates, it'd turn something kind of standard at this point into a fairly solid update. Balance changes are by far what I look forward to the most. I don't expect it, but I always hope a little bit. And Valve has always had a big emphasis on community-made content going back to even the earliest updates. I mean, by the second major update that the game got, they were already including community maps. But of course, they also included their own stuff. And understandably, at this point, there is definitely some community content fatigue going on. But at the same time, I think it's worth, taking a step back and also appreciating things for what they are sometimes. Maybe I'm getting old, but it is just a game. And if you want Valve stuff, keep telling them. Send them an email. Tell them what you want. Be specific. Don't just complain. Like I said earlier, I sent them an email about the vote timer. I also sent them one about strangers that don't exist, like the Dragon's Fury and the Eureka effect. I sent them one about auto balance occurring with less than 60 seconds on the timer. Just little things that come to mind. Maybe they see it, maybe they don't, but you did something. You at least put some effort in. And if you're able to enjoy things for what they are, I think you'll have a perfectly fine time with this update. They didn't add any overly gimmicky new game modes. Most of what they did add seems to work as intended. If you've played the game for as long as I have, you definitely remember that even when they made their own stuff, it was usually broken on the first day. But most things seem to work, and I'm sure anything that needs to be fixed will probably be fixed pretty quickly. And speaking of, I actually do very much enjoy the amount of small fixes we've gotten thanks to the SDK update. I don't really care very much about the TF2 spin-off games, but I really like seeing any bug, no matter how small, get fixed in the main game. That's definitely been nice, and I do hope we see more of that. And then, lastly, before we go, I have not talked about the Man vs. Machine update coming up, but that is definitely going to be interesting. I was not expecting to get any new Man vs. Machine stuff, ever, community or otherwise. I mean, there's not been a single community-made Man vs. Machine map added to the game since it came out. And this email from Eric does claim that they're updating Man vs. Machine in general, so we will see what that means. It does sound potentially promising, but you should keep your expectations in check, for your own sake. We'll have to wait and see what comes. And I think that's it. I know my channel's been a little sparse with long-form videos this year, and I've just been very busy, and I'm trying. Don't worry, I'm trying. You'll see a new video soon enough. But in the meantime, go out and try those new maps, enjoy the rest of your summer, and thanks for watching, and of course a big thanks to my patrons like Varric, Captain Forex, Eggox, Colonel, Probably Vinegar, Caponicus, Kelso the Pirate, Pillsman's Fox, Some Crazy Idiot, Ozond, Evil Toaster, Salt God, Lavi, Taupe, Time Consuming, Man344, Nolan46, and Melodici.